Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Scents. And today you can see here in front of you, I've got some really well-known designer fragrances here with both the Chanel and the YSL Yves Laurent range. The reason I'm bringing this to you is really on point with the season we're having. The nice summer season is upon us, and it's some fresh designer fragrances that are really well known in the fragrance scene. And even those that aren't into fragrances, these are probably the better selling flankers and rangers across these two design houses. The reason for this video is very straightforward and simple, is I'm going to explain to you what I think of these versions that have been released by both Chanel and YSL, and my favorite ones, because two I was gifted and two I decided to purchase myself. Gifted, not by the brand, gifted by friends or family for gifts and so on over the years. And it's touching on a couple of points that you might feel you go through as a fragrance head yourself. So without further ado, I'll get into it. And the point that I wanted to make is, have you, and I'll ask you a question, pop your comments down in the comments below, your response, but have you ever come across a scent that you've used and yeah, they do bring back positive good memories of good times and so on? So you do make that interlink between great times and fun times and fun times, and that's why I have various go-to holiday scents that I like to take away on holiday and that don't really use in and around my locality, but when I'm away I'd use them, but also ones that remind me of my past and genuinely, back then, back when, and this is where Chanel Allure Homme Sport comes into play. Really, what we have here is the really well-known Eau Extreme version. And the reason I bring this out, you can see the bottle cap has had some wear and tear, because I've actually had this bottle for a very long time. It was bought to me by my sister for my birthday some time ago, many years ago, and it seems to be making a comeback. Now, I don't know if Chanel have relaunched it or whatever. The bottle seems to be the same, but it's getting quite a bit of mentions on the fragrance usual YouTube influencers. But I've had this for many years, and I very rarely now reach for it, and it goes back to that point I was making. Yes, it's a very nice fresh scent. It's got some citrusness to it, some freshness. It's very strong for how long it lasts in terms of a freshie, and that's really my dig at this, is the fact that it turns into a musky fragrance. And the things that come to mind when I remember this is I used it as my daily driver when I worked in an office. We live in the UK, so it's not very warm, very little AC in offices. It's just, standard temperatures really. But across the year, it's an all-rounder, and it is a nice, pleasant fragrance. So I'd say give it a try if you've not tried it. But for me, I got bored of it, using it year after year. And it brings back memories of me being in that workplace environment. I remember it used to spray, and it used to last on clothes for quite a while, and that musky dry down that you get from this is something that really doesn't paint a good picture in my mind, and maybe that's why I'm a little bit harsh on this and I don't use it as much. The Chanel range, they do have quite pricey designer fragrances, especially for the larger bottle sizes. But anyhow, I digest. And what I really want to get back to is the preference in that range, and how I've come across to really liking the Allure Homme Edition Blanche version of this range. And the reason for that, and again, this is starting to get some traction in the community, and many fragrance people have been talking about it for some time, or just recently. Aussie bloke with loads of love for Louis Vuitton has just recently posted this morning that he's come across this himself. I love the fact that he finally has. But again, it's been around for some time. I've had this waiting to be opened for a couple of years. Basically, I wanted to finish this before I got onto this. Finally cracked it open because I realised actually it's got a different scent, slightly different scent profile, and probably more fresher and more pleasing to the DNA that I prefer. So what do you get that's different? Well, this Allure Homme Edition Blanche is more of a lemon meringue creaminess. So it's got lemon, it's got bergamot, it's got vanilla in it, it's got some vetiver and musk. But just generally, I always say the opening is something that really pleases me in a fragrance, and I like that to continue. And I feel for this warm, hot, summery days that we have, this is much more of a pleasing fragrance from the opening to mid to dry down. It's got that lemon sharpness at the top, but then it really brings that creaminess, that meringueness to the forefront as well, and that's really the alluring part of it. It really has a well blended round fragrance, so it balances citrusy freshness with the creaminess perfectly, in my opinion. It really does, and it's a beautiful scent. It really feels on the upper class of the design house range, and it stands above and beyond and on the shoulders of Homme Sport or Extreme, where this is fresh, nice, it turns musky, and I think it's okay. The Allure Homme Edition Blanche, I think, is a step above, and I would always, all day, choose the Allure Homme Edition Blanche over the Homme Sport, to the point where I found it very difficult to come across any other clones or dupes of this. But I've heard Arsh is supposed to be good, ARSH. I believe it's from Fragrance World or one of those design houses. I've ordered that, it's on the way. It's got an additional almond note that this doesn't have. I'm not too keen on nutty almond notes, but we'll see what it's like, because this is a beautiful, fresh, summery, spring, warm weather scent, and it lasts, and it's beautiful. It's really nice. It's zingy off the top, but it's so well blended. So guys, if you were to go between the two, I'd say choose this, or at least try them both, and I guarantee you most likely most of you may prefer the Homme Edition Blanche. Now this moves on to the YSL range, and again it's the EDT. Here, the YSL Y EDT, you can see it's pretty much finished. And again, I wanted to make that a point of finishing this before I went for the other. So I was gifted this again as a birthday gift from my wife some years ago. It's one of the original EDT launchers. And yeah, it's nice, it's pleasant. However, I do find it's a little bit juvenile. And the reason I say that is that it has a really bright, fresh, zingy, citrusy opening that really punches you in the face. It's very sweet, very cloying, and it has a huge amounts of energy. Now, I think that is something that really reminds me of my teenage years, my early 20s, and that's where I feel this fits in well with those people who are at the younger side of their life, you know, going through those times and moments that are really looking for something that's energetic and vibrant and cloying and sweet. So, you know, you've got your Invictus profile, you've got your YSL Y EDT profile, you know, and those are the kinds of profiles that I feel fit within a certain point in life and for a certain person. And it was okay, it's nice to a certain degree, but I think, again, it really made me feel that I got this early on when it was launched, actually, but it's been quite hyped, this range. However, the reason why I've fallen back for it again is, and again, I'd put this down to being mediocre to okay. But again, I wouldn't want to use this. I've not finished it. I've not touched it for a long time, because generally I just find it way too sweet, way too vibrant, way too shouty and loud and synthetic in that sense. And again, it just reminds me of a juvenile scent. So I want something a little bit more mature. I mean, I'm not old by any stretch of the imagination, but I've certainly matured. So that's where the Parfum version comes in. Now, this is the original Parfum version. It is not the new Parfum. I believe 2025 they reformulated it and released it. This is the 2021 Parfum version, the original one. It's beautifully blended, so it definitely has the YSL Y DNA. It certainly carries that citrusiness through, but what it does do is it just dulls it down a little bit, so it's not shouting as loud as it possibly can and being juvenile. It's much more mature in a sense, but by that I mean it's more well blended. It transitions through to the other notes that are within it seamlessly, and it's not screechy, and that's what I find. This is the EDT is very screechy. The PARFUM is so well blended that it's got that nice citrusy note throughout the top, mid, and then it settles down. And that's what I like about it. It really is well blended. And I feel this is a better all year round fragrance, but also can stand out in the summer. So I use it for that. I mean, a lot of people go on about the Eau de Parfum, the EDP. I haven't got that. I've got clones of it and dupes of it. But I think it's still got some screechiness to it. It's still got a bit of too much of vibrancy from the citrus at the top. But the vibrancy you get from the citrus here, I feel, is just much more mature, well blended, nice and smoother. And it just sits and projects much nicely for my personal taste. And that's why I would always go for the Parfum of the YSL Y line over the EDP or the EDT. So that is my take on these guys. If you do have them in your range, I'm guessing most of you will or have in the past, let me know what you think and which ones your preferences are. But they are my two. Allure Homme Edition Blanche. They are both summer bangers, but also I feel you can use these year long round. But where they really stand out is in the warmer settings and scenarios and climates. So Allure Homme Edition Blanche and YSL Y Parfum. Thank you guys. Let me know what you think. Comment, subscribe, like, share, but also get yourself some decants from the comments below. You'll find a link where you can get hold of some decants and travel size atomizers for all of the ones that I cover. And it's only honest reviews here. Like I say, nothing's gifted from any of the fragrance houses. Everything, if it ever is gifted, it's from a friend or a family member, and I'll be absolutely open and honest and give you the good, the bad, the not so good, and the indifferent as well. So thank you, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.